All right, so yeah, I will be your eye line for this.
If this is about the war crimes in Taiwan.
It is not, but
Okay.
I might ask you about that later, just because you brought it up and I have to follow up on it.
I plead the fifth. My name is Kevin Stealey. I'm a comic shop manager from Baltimore, Maryland. 29 years old. This guy's boss. I was part-time at the Greensboro location for like a year and a half. Wanted to quit waiting tables. Wanted to go full-time working at the comic shop. So I asked the Greensboro guys if I could go full-time. Ended up coming full-time here, and within a month, the manager of this store quit. So everything just kind of fell onto me.
What kind of tactics do you use to kind of handle that?
Just going with it.
Just going with
Just
it.
adaptability. Just rolling with the punches. Doing what I have to do. It sucks sometimes. Brett got mad. A handful of times, but mistakes get made. It is what it is.
Would you feel comfortable sharing about a time that Brett got mad?
When I destroyed $500 worth of stuff that wasn't supposed to be destroyed. That was a good example.
It was charged fully less than a month ago. I guess it's just off. Okay, so my camera's not gonna happen. Yeah, no.
I'm just a fan of storytelling. In any medium, movie, music, comics, books, poetry, art, what have you. Watched the Walking Dead TV show and found out that it was a comic. I was like, I'm gonna read that. So over the span of like a year, I went into the Greensboro store to collect the trade paperbacks, the collected issues. Did that over a year, read the whole Walking Dead. I was like, you know what, I kind of like comics, so I just kept reading. I was a fan of Marvel movies for the longest time, but like just Wikipedia and stuff to learn that did it the lazy way. But then after like a year and a half of going into the Greensboro store for books, they were just like, hey, you want a job? So I was just like, yeah, sure, okay. So I did part-time there while I was waiting tables, and then just kept reading and kept liking stuff. No, here I am.
All right, it is currently September 9th at 7:06 p.m. And this guy right here has got an interesting idea of what we're going to do tonight. Why don't you fill him in?
I mean, you're the one who saw something.
Well, yeah, but you saw it after me.
I probably just my brain just bullshitting.
Beyond the realm of kind of like the traditional art that you engage with, what's kind of stuff that you do that kind of makes you happy, that kind of brings you joy?
Big fan of the Band of Horses. I've seen them 3 times, but the second time I saw them by myself. Just decided on a whim to buy a ticket, went to myself to a show in Charlotte, and going to a concert by yourself is just different. Being in a crowded room surrounded by strangers all there for like one singular purpose to just like get lost and enjoy the music. It just kind of stuck out to me, so now I just try to go as many shows alone as possible. It's just a different energy when you go by yourself. Mm-hmm. Going with friends is dope, but like being able to just like kind of get lost to the music is awesome. Band of Horses, American Football was really good live. Always loved seeing Interpol. Kings of Leon was really good live. That one's a little biased though. I saw them in their hometown, so they played like a 2.5 hour set. Kendrick Lamar was really good live. As much as I hate to say it, Coldplay actually puts on one hell of a show. Admittedly, not a fan of their newer stuff, but just want to throw that in there to be clear. I mean, I think it's a cat. I thought it was a cat for a long time, but you said you saw like a person, so that's what spawned this whole thing. But like things get knocked off the shelf, things get moved, like all the fucking time. And like things that shouldn't, like we'll have a stack of like 20 or so books on the wall, and then a stack with like 3 books next to it, and the 3 books will be knocked over, not the bigger stack. So it's things that shouldn't fall that fall.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Do you consider yourself someone who enjoys traveling?
It changes. It changes all the time. It's like when I first started doing it, I loved driving. I appreciated the journey more than the destination at one point in time, but it evolved into me focusing too much on the journey, and by the time of getting to the destination, it was just done. But this most recent concert, when I went to Asheville, I was driving by myself, and it was like the sun was setting, and it was in the mountains, and it was just gorgeous setting, and I just like kind of took a second to look around, and was just like, this makes it worth it. Like, I think I'm like starting to like driving again and like appreciate it and just kind of taking in the moment and being there instead of like, just want this to be done. Like, it's weird.
This actually does lead me into some fan submitted questions by a Miss Brooke West, who asked me to ask you a couple things. Who is Marina?
All right. This sounds bad, but it's ridiculously easy to hit on women as a waiter. It's real simple. Like, buy a drink, spark up conversation. Like, it was simple to hit on women as a waiter. Was working one night, saw a rather attractive, older blonde woman at the bar alone, struck up a conversation. Her name was Marina, obviously. Russian woman in town from Miami for furniture market. Yeah, so I just got to talking, asked her out, and she was just like, I'm married. My husband's back home. She's like, doesn't mean you can't have company. And she was just like, you're right. So we met at Kabuto's the next day, and I went on a date with a 40-something-year-old married Russian woman, and she took me back to her hotel room. Not proud, but super fun. The paperbacks, when they were shifting on the shelf, were you here for that?
I was not there for that.
I think it was you were like rearranging the paperbacks, and like you had left a gap, and like things were stable, and then like I heard something, and just looked at the shelf and noticed that like, but it wasn't like dominoes. Like one book fell, and then like 2 minutes later another book would fall, and then another book, and it was just like spaced out and timed really weird for it to just be like things falling over.
And you think that this means cat?
Cats knock things off shit. Cats like paw things off the table all the time. This used to be a pet store, and like an old pet store. So like, there's no vet here. So like, they probably mistreated animals, and animals likely died here. So my guess is that it's just a fucking cat.
All right.
I don't know.
Are you someone that believes in something like coincidence?
To an extent, it's only coincidence until it like stops making sense. Things just line up sometimes. Things happen. There's coincidence and there's fate. I think there's both.
You believe in fate?
Yeah.
Can I ask kind of what got you to start thinking about that?
To keep it just straight, probably God and attempted suicide. Depression is depression. Like, we're all both old enough to the point where, like, we could recognize when we have depression, but, like, it affects kids. And kids are too young to know what it is, so kids with depression don't know they have depression, so they don't know what's going on, and they don't know how to, like, cope and understand. So I was 10, tried killing myself. Like, wire coat hangers? Like, kind of like the older ones. Like, imagine, like, 90s, like, flimsy wire coat hangers. Yeah. I, like, unraveled, like, 12 of them and tied them together and made a little noose and tried hanging myself in the closet. And all of the wire hangers, like, snapped collectively. Like, they just broke in half. Like, it wasn't the pole in the closet falling down. It wasn't, like, someone running into the room and saving my ass. It was just, like, the wire hangers just snapped. And I, like, wasn't a heavy kid, so it was just really weird. The more I thought about it when I grew up, I was just like, okay, that kind of doesn't track. So it just stuck with me. Turn that light on in the corner. So one of our normal customers comes in who's close with the owner. He comes back here all the time just looking for things. And I didn't see him in the store, so I took my eyes to the cameras up front to see if I could spot him anywhere. And as I, like, looked, it was the frame for that camera up there. And I just thought I saw, like, a shoulder, like, just dipped in here really quick. Mm-hmm. But it was, like, a split second. And then I assumed it was the customer who's close with Brett, but then I looked up from the cameras and dude was outside, like, on the floor.
Yeah.
But because of you, went back and watched through the cameras and saw nothing. So that could have just been my eyes or my brain messing with me. I was driving down the road, and it was a kind of skinny lane, 2-lane road, and I saw a moving truck in the road with the ramp up. And, like, as soon as I saw the ramp, intrusive thoughts won, and I just put my foot down on the gas and was just planning to just go right into it. I wasn't, like, ridiculously close, but not ridiculously far away either. But I was picking up speed and going towards it, and my phone goes off, and it's my mom. I just started a new job, and my mom was like, I know things are tough, but I love you. Have a good day. We'll talk later. And that was enough for me to be like, and go around the truck. And the second time was something similar. It's just a weird, like, text at that exact moment. the timing of it all was just kind of odd.
You want to tell us something?
You?
You go first.
You want to tell me something?
Goes back.
Goes back where? Where do you want me to go back?
Help.
Do you want to help or you need help?
Where to go?
Do you not know where you are?
I just, like, I know that he's there. He's watching. Shit happens, but, like, he's not infallible. Like, it's not all on him. Like, shit just happens. Things are meant to happen the way they happen.
Do you think he's good?
Yes. Yeah. I was initially gonna say yes and no. Overall, yes. Again, shit does happen, but like sometimes it like there's a silver lining to everything. I think there's like a purpose and a reason behind certain things that like inevitably shape the people who are left into what they are. I think it's that. I think it's just like an ever-present hand on your shoulder guiding you to where you're supposed to be, type deal. I don't think it's my place to say that he's there for everyone because there's so many different religious beliefs and religions and different gods to so many different people. I think it's a little arrogant to be like, my God's the one with his hand on everybody's shoulder. So I can't rightly say that, no.
But that's what you feel like.
For me, yeah. And for like if like fellow Christian, like yeah.
No.
But like I can't say the same like someone practicing like Islam or Buddhism or Hinduism because like my God's not their God. So like
I hurt.
You're hurt or you hurt someone?
Me.
You hurt yourself. Someone hurts, you're hurting. Okay.
No.
Okay. No, I get it. How
Sorry. Is that how you died? You hurt yourself?
Leave.
you want us to leave?
Do you not want to talk about it? How you left?
You? Well... Recording.
Oh,
You don't want the camera on? I can stop.
I've like looked into the belief systems of like Islam and Judaism. I still need to do more like in-depth research to kind of figure out like I don't know if I could put a label on my religious beliefs in terms of like choosing a religion just because I don't know enough. But I just believe there's a God. Someone's up there watching out.
Do you think there's an afterlife?
Yeah, 100%.
That quick?
It's only logical. I believe in life after death. I believe in heaven and hell. So, like, if there's that, then limbo, purgatory, those things, like, equally must also exist. You can't pick and choose. You can't believe one thing and not the other type deal.
Have you actively pursued answers in some of that avenue, or do you prefer to let the mystery be?
If the opportunity presents itself, I don't like just drive around like going to haunted places in my spare time, like with the spirit box asking questions.
Spirit box.
Yeah.
So just cycles through radio stations or at a quick rate. So you're going to be listening to that with noise canceling headphones on. Her and I will be asking questions. While you're under listening to this, from not being able to hear us, just say whatever you hear.
Okay.
Like anything. But don't like inflect on it. Don't be like, it sounded like banana. Just be like, banana.
Banana. Okay.
Yeah. Odds are it's likely going to be incoherent and not match up with anything that her and I ask. But on the off chance that like we have a conversation with you during this process for like 2 minutes or so, a little weird.
if a friend is like, hey, my church is haunted, I'm like, okay, let's go check it out. But I'm not like it's not a hobby. It's more so like if something happens, I have my equipment and I'll try.
The reality of the situation of what we're doing just dawned on me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a tour of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, like I think last year. I'm trying to convince my brother and a bunch of his friends to do an overnight where it's just like 10 of us in the whole place alone. I'd bring my equipment then just to see what happens.
Is there something that you hope would happen, or are you just kind of open to whatever being that?
Just whatever.
Just whatever.
If I get punched in the face, it is what it is, but I'm running.
Your ghost punch in the face, or your brother's a punch in the face?
Either one. Both work. Both would happen. I don't know, souls are a very present and complex thing in people. Certain energy that just like disperses from the body after death and is just like not present anymore. Like it has to go somewhere. And like I can't presume to know what afterlife is or what it looks like. Afterlife probably isn't what any of us think it is. It's probably not like clouds and sunshine and seeing your loved ones and all of that. Like it could be infinitely different for everybody. I don't know.
Can I ask you what your ideal life looks like 10 or 15 years down the line?
Just as long as I still got people around me, like friends and family. I've lost and buried a lot of people. It's like if that like would like take a kind of a slow down, that'd be nice.
Is that how you approach life in general? So something like not necessarily like something you want to have happen, but just like what happens.
Changed in like the past 2 years. But yeah, it's like a stoic approach to just life in general. Things happen, they're gonna happen. How you react to them is what matters. How you let it affect you. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. It's a book, Stoic philosophy. But he says something in the book. The only, basically, like probably just shrinking this, but the only thing that damages your soul is what you allow to damage your soul. And if you think about it, the fact that you're allowing anything to damage your soul is idiotic, and it's just like that's kind of on point. So it's kind of changed my mindset. I just kind of brush things off, take things at face value. It is what it is. Just got to keep going.
Can I ask what was the change that changed perspective? What that was 2 years ago?
For like my whole life?
Yeah.
Oh, my brother dying. Yeah, that was a massive shift in how I viewed everything. That's another big God moment for me as well. May 11th, 2021. It's probably like 11:30 at night. I'm laying in bed about to go to sleep, and like voice in the back of my head is just telling me to pray, which like at that point I hadn't prayed in years. So it was just a very random thought, but it caught my attention. So I did it, and I prayed. And it was just like, nobody had died for a while. My family was doing all right. So I was just like, thank you, God, for looking after me, my family. I appreciate it. Keep it up. Thank you. Amen. Went to sleep. Got woken up the next morning with a phone call that my brother was dead. One of my brothers was dead. I still have 3. And like had a crisis of faith there for a little bit because it was just like, well, this is kind of just twisted. But like once I looked at it, like the things happen, they're always going to happen. No matter what, my brother was going to die that morning, but something reached out to me that night. It was just like, hey, pray. And I viewed that as like God's hand on my shoulder, just like kind of giving me a heads up that something was going to happen. And since then, kind of has like tried to take the more stoic approach to things.
What would you want people to say about you when you were gone?
Like when I die?
Yeah.
I don't know. I want them to say whatever they want. It's just saying something.
Anything at all makes sense.